Hi guys, it is me, ChazzaHD, and welcome to the race watch along today for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And are we all excited for the race today? I kind of am, because I think the start is going to be very interesting, but because it is dry, as I look at the screen now, it is very sunny. I'm not sure we're going to get that exciting of a race today, but who knows, maybe we'll get a crazy race like we did back in 2015. So hopefully that can happen. And if you missed qualifying yesterday and are unsure of what the starting grid is, let me take you through it now. So here you go, here is the top 10. Lewis Hamilton is on pole position. This was in full wet conditions. Lewis Hamilton on pole. Bottas is second and Raikkonen third. Vettel fourth. Sainz is fifth. Gasly sixth. Verstappen, I'm afraid, was poured down in P7. Then Brendan Hartley was eighth. Magnussen ninth. And Romain Grosjean in 10th. And I have to say, especially for the front four, the start is so important in terms of deciding who's going to win the race, who's going to be on the podium. And I think it's also very important there for Max Verstappen in P7, who has to get a move on immediately from that position. He cannot afford to be behind Sainz and Gasly for too long if he wants to compete for a podium, or if by some miracle the Red Bull is so fast today, compete for the race win. So again, the start is very important. And it's also important for Daniel Ricciardo, as you can see there, in P12. But Alonso is in P11. Then it is Ricciardo. Then Hülkenberg 13th. Then Ericsson 14th. Stroll qualified 15th, even though he didn't set a lap time in Q2. But will be starting from the pit lane because he had to change his front wing. So he will be starting from the pit lane, meaning that Van Dorn will start 15th. Then Leclerc in 16th. Ocon 17th, Perez 18th, then Sorokin in 19th with Stroll from the pit lane. So technically, the two Williams are starting at the back. Basically meaning that yesterday's, I think, quite good qualifying performance basically means nothing because they had to change the front wing after Stroll crashed. So that is not good for Williams. See, there you go. That is the starting grid for today's Hungarian Grand Prix. Now, I'm going to get into my race predictions. Now, for my predictions, this was very hard to make because the start of this race is going to decide who is going to win. So, essentially, I have to, or had to guess who was going to get a good start as to who I thought was going to win the race today. And I've actually gone for a surprise winner for today's Hungarian Grand Prix. Kimi Raikkonen, I think, will win the Hungarian Grand Prix. I think he'll get a good start. I think he'll get up to second. I don't think he'll get up to first. I wouldn't be surprised if he got up to first, but I think he will get up into P2. He'll be behind Hamilton, and I think over the 70 laps, Kimi will just have too much pace for Lewis. Lewis, I think, will have some decent speed, but he won't have the speed that Kimi Raikkonen will have. So I think Kimi, if he does get up to P2, he should be able to, make it work from there in terms of getting the race win. So yeah, I'm going for a surprise winner there in Kimi Raikkonen. And then in P2, I'm going to go with Lewis Hamilton. I think he'll probably do enough to maintain P1 at the start of the race. But I think he'll have a Ferrari behind him because the Ferraris at the start of races are so good. And I don't think he'll be able to hold off whatever that Ferrari is, whether it's Kimi or Sebastian. I think it'll be Kimi. But the thing is, I don't think Lewis will have both Ferraris behind him. I think Valtteri won't get a bad start, but it won't be good enough to hold back one of the Ferraris. So that is why I don't see Lewis dropping down to third or fourth, because I don't think he'll get both Ferraris, queuing up behind him. And because of that, I have gone for Sebastian Vettel in third because, yes, the Ferraris are good off the start line, but he is starting on the dirty side of the grid, and that is very important at this track because the dirty side of the grid here, it is a real disadvantage, and I do think that will hurt Sebastian today. I think he'll get a decent start, but I don't think he will actually gain any positions off the start line. And that's why I think he'll finish third, because this is what I see happening. I think Lewis will be leading from Kimi, and then Valtteri will be third at the start of the race, holding up Sebastian, and that will prevent Sebastian getting up to the back of Hamilton and Raikkonen, and that's why I think Sebastian will finish third behind Lewis, because I think eventually Vettel will, through strategy, will get past Valtteri. So, yeah, I think if Sebastian wants to beat Lewis today, he has to get past Valtteri in today's race. He has to, straight off the line, because if he doesn't, I just see Valtteri holding him up for the rest of the race. That's what I see for him. But now, getting on to something that I've introduced new for these watch-alongs before the actual session begins, is we now are going to look at the results of the Junior Formula F2. Now, oh, no, not yet, sorry, I thought we were going to the F2 results. No, I've got to do, and I've just remembered, our one to watch, Daniel Ricciardo. Starting in 12th, he will have the pace to get up to, say, P5, P6. I think he'll be doing some dive bombs today. He may find it a bit harder because the Renault power unit compared to, say, the Haas with the Ferrari power unit, I think he may struggle to get past them immediately. But I think Ricciardo eventually will get his way up to 5th or 6th, and I think you definitely have to watch out for him because, yeah, he is going to be performing some good overtakes today. Now, I believe we are going to get into the F2 results. Sorry about that. Yep, here we go. So this is the results from the feature race which took place after qualifying yesterday. The first half of the race was in wet conditions, and then the second half was, I wouldn't say dry, but dry enough for the slick tyres. And Nick de Vries won the race. Very good pace in the dry conditions at the end. Lando Norris, just about hanging on for P2, was outstanding in the wet at the start of the race, but after that his pace just dropped off massively. De Vries caught like 15 seconds in about 6 or 7 laps and easily passed him. So a bit worrying his pace was at the time then. Antonio Fuoco was in P3. He got it basically because Sergio Sette Camara did cross the line in 3rd, but he did take out Fuoco on the penultimate corner, which is why Sette Camara had a penalty and Fuoco took P3. You have Aitken in P4, then Albon in P5. Sette Camara finished down in P7 with that penalty. And George Russell had an engine problem which prevented him from getting any real meaningful result. Such a shame for him. And of course, losing a lot of points compared to Lando Norris. And then, for the sprint race this morning, we had a new winner in Alexander Albon. A brilliant driver, brilliant overtake around the outside on Luca Giotto. And yeah, thoroughly deserving that victory. And I do have to say, I think Albon does deserve a seat in F1. He has been fantastic this season. And I think a team like Toro Rosso really should be looking at him because, yeah, this season he has been surprising. A lot of the, say, younger drivers currently in F1 do rate Albon highly. For example, like Charles Leclerc. So I don't see why he would be a bad fit in an F1 team right now. He is a very good driver. Then Sette Camara was P3. Lando Norris P4. Ex-F1 driver Roberto Merri in P5. George Russell did well to get up to P8. He eventually got past, I think it was Delatraz, who finished behind him. He was stuck behind him for quite a long time. But yeah, getting some good points for his championship considering that, well, he's had so many issues this weekend. He's lost out quite a lot of points to Lando Norris. But I still think that George is leading the championship from Lando. But the gap is a lot shorter than it was before we came into this race. And I think now there is 4 races left or 3 races left remaining in the F2 season. So yeah, the championship battle is really heating up and I don't really know who's going to win it? I think it's going to come right down to Abu Dhabi, and it's going to come right down to the last few laps of that race. So yeah, it'll be great to see who comes out on top there. And now, essentially, with 20 minutes remaining until the race starts, I'm now going to put the question to you. Who do you guys think will win the race today? Who do you think will be on the podium? Who do you think will cause a shock? Where do you think the two Red Bulls will finish, considering that they're starting in positions where they don't normally start in? Yeah, what do you guys think will happen in today's Grand Prix? Just looking at the chat now. JB, this will be a good race. I'm not sure. Last year's race in, I wouldn't say similar conditions, because I think it was a bit hotter last year, but this race in the dry is not exciting. It's not. It can be very boring at times. The dirty line won't matter too much after the rain from Soccer Legend. It kind of will though, because you got to think we've had a GP3 race late on Saturday, which was in dry conditions, and we've had GP3 I think this morning and F2 and the Porsche Super Cup. So we have had some races at the circuit which have been held in the dry after qualifying ended, of course, in wet conditions. So it will have an effect because there has been newly laid rubber put down on the track. So it will still have an effect, I think, on the race start. Mario Master, I hope we can get another 2015 Hungary. That would be brilliant if we did. That race was one of the best Hungarian Grand Prix I think we've ever had. It was very, very exciting, very unpredictable, just crazy stuff going on all the time. And hopefully we get that, because I think that would be a very fitting way to send us into the summer break, considering that this season, mostly, let's, exclude Spain, Monaco, Canada, Australia and France, mostly, this season has been crazy, I'd have to say. Gamer Ben, where do you think Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen will finish? I'm going to have to say P5 and P6. I don't see any higher than that. I think Verstappen, if Verstappen wants to finish higher than P5, he has to be ahead of Sainz and Gasly at the end of lap 1. If he's still behind them, or even worse, I don't see how he beats any of the Mercedes or any of the Ferraris. I just don't see it, because they're going to just run into the distance while Verstappen is stuck in the dirty air of slower midfield cars. And the same for Daniel Ricciardo. So I think, yeah, it's going to be a difficult race for Red Bull. I think Verstappen has the potential to do something again if he gets a good start, but I don't think Daniel Ricciardo really can do anything from where he's starting in terms of any meaningful positions. JB, will Hartley get points? Maybe. I think there is going to be a couple people that may spoil that. I think the two horses behind him have enough pace to beat him. I think Daniel Ricciardo will definitely beat him. So if he gets points, then I think it'll be a great drive by him, because I'm not sure he has the pace to get that. But of course we will see. As currently at the Hungaroring, they're having a minute's silence for Sergio Marchionne, and I just want to say again, rest in peace, great man. Without him, I don't think Ferrari would be in this position, challenging for World Championships. It's sad for Ferrari, because again, he turned that team around. He put the people in place that have now transformed that team into, I wouldn't say a winning machine, but more like a winning machine, and more like the machine they were in the early to mid 2000s. So it is sad, but unfortunately that's just the way life is. Rip Force India. Will this be their last race? Who knows? Who knows? I did say in my qualifying review that this might be their last race. I know a couple people thought that was an exaggeration, but I don't think it is, because even though they do have, according to them, 4 or 5 potential buyers, there is no guarantee that any of them are going to buy the team. So it really could be at least one of their final races. Game of Ben, Daniel Ricciardo will probably retire again. Knowing his luck, yeah. Knowing his luck, he'll do absolutely brilliantly. He'll get up to 5th, be ahead of his teammate, and then his engine will blow up whilst he's catching the front 4. That's just the way his luck works, I'm afraid. As we're currently having the Hungarian national anthem. Don't jinx this again, please. Oh, God. If Ricciardo retires again, I give up. I just can't believe his bad luck. It's very similar to Bottas at the moment. JB, they will never be able to show their talent in a top team, Perez and Ocon. I don't think Perez will, but I think Ocon eventually will, because it seems as though Esteban Ocon is going to Renault, and I think Renault eventually will become a top team in terms of winning races. So I think Ocon can, but I'm not sure Perez can, because I just don't think anyone is going to give him the chance which I think he deserves. Soccer legend Hamilton is so lucky right now. I don't think he is. I think it's... You have to look at it without any, any favoritism. Ferrari have caused this. This isn't, in these races where Vettel's been leading or doing well, he hasn't had like an engine problem or an ERS problem. It's been down to either him or the team on strategy making a mistake. It's all Ferrari's fault why they're in this position. So I can't agree that Lewis Hamilton is getting lucky right now. He's doing everything he can to be where he is currently in the championship lead, and I think will extend it by at least 3 points today. And Sebastian is not doing everything he can right now. There's no doubt about that for me. At the start of the season, I thought Sebastian was driving well, but right now he is not doing well at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if, again, he made another error. And I don't want to predict that, but with the way he's been driving as of late, I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised. JB will Gasly say, I cannot believe if it gets another good result. Probably. I think he will finish in the points as long as his car obviously finishes the race. I think he will finish in the points. I think he had the pace anyway to get into the top 10 in dry conditions, if it was dry in qualifying. So in the race, I think he'll finish about P7, P8, which would be a great finish for the team. They desperately need points right now if they're going to somehow hold off Sauber, which I don't think is going to be possible, because I think Sauber is just developing at such a rapid speed. I just don't see how Toro Rosso can hold off Sauber for the rest of the year. And if they do, then it's a great job by Toro Rosso and Honda as well. Oh, come on, Seb has made one mistake. He was superb at Germany up until the mistake. Well, Sky F1 showed it earlier. He made the error in Baku, which at the time I was fine with, and I'm still kind of fine with, because he had to go for the move and had to try and make up for, I think, the strategy error that Ferrari committed. But then you have France hitting Bottas, where he didn't need to be aggressive. You have Austria, where that was just plain dumbness from both Vettel and the team as well. And you have Hockenheim, where when he was dominantly leading by about 10 seconds, he pushed too hard and went out of the Grand Prix. And then I thought yesterday in qualifying in the wet was not good enough. If Kimi can beat him, then Sebastian can, because we know that Sebastian is good in wet conditions. Look at Monza in 2008. Look at China 2009. He is very good in wet conditions. he is still driving well. He's still doing well compared to others on the grid, but for his standard and for a World Championship standard, I think as of late, he's not driving well enough. I think he was driving well, say, in the first 7 races, but after that, I think he's just been inconsistent since the French Grand Prix. Game of Ben, do you think that Lewis is a better driver than Seb? I do. We'll see at the end of the season if Lewis or Seb wins the title. I still think it's going to come down to the wire, even though at the moment, if it was going to finish this race the way they start in terms of the grid order, Hamilton would extend his gap to 30 points. But I still think it's going to come down right to the wire in Abu Dhabi, because that's just the way this crazy season has been. Niblo, Seb and Lewis for me are level, and I hate Hamilton. JB, Alonso is better than Seb and Lewis. I agree. I think Fernando is still the best on the grid. Just look at his car. His car is so poor, and he's still putting it in a position where he can score good points. And that car is not good. It is poor. But he's still scoring points. Look what he did in Austria. Look what he did in Silverstone. It's incredible how well he has done. Absolutely incredible. Just looking at the TV now. They're just looking at the cars as well. In the live chat, where are you watching from, and what TV station are you watching the race on? I'm watching it again from my bedroom on Sky Sports F1. Gamer Ben, if Seb and Lewis have another retirement this year, where do you think it will be? I don't know. You can never know in F1. It will happen at the most surprising time. For example, I think 2 years ago when Hamilton retired in Malaysia, no one was expecting that to happen. No one was. So it'll happen most likely when you're least expecting it. Kind of like Vettel last week or Hamilton in Austria. I have no Sky and it ain't on the telly. JB, who's the best driver excluding Seb, Lewis and Alonso? In my opinion, Max Verstappen. Might be a bit controversial to say, but I think since the Canadian Grand Prix, he has been one of the best drivers on the grid. I think he has. He has been so quick. He has cut out the mistakes. He has been consistent. And if he had just done that for the first 6 races, I think we'd have a 3-way championship battle. But unfortunately we don't have that. Basically because of Verstappen's at time dumbness when it comes to when to go for a overtake. Just reading the chat, someone is from Kenya. Well, that's a great commitment if you actually are watching from there. So thank you for coming along and watching, and coming along and as well watching the race. That is fantastic commitment. Verstappen, Ricciardo, Ocon or Leclerc. I think once Lewis, Seb, Kimi, Fernando, once they all go, I think the top drivers will be Max, Daniel, Leclerc, Ocon, Sainz, maybe Gasly. I'm still not 100% sure about him. I think he can be inconsistent. Is it raining? No, it's not. It is, I would say, half sunny. It's not fully sunny, but it's, sun and cloud at the moment as the race is about to start, or is going to start in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes time until race start. My podium prediction is Seb, Max and Hamilton. Wow. That's a bit ambitious for Max there. I don't think... Could he? Could he get that far up? I don't think he can, but we've seen crazier things. If Red Bull had the same top speed on the straights as Ferrari, would they be the best team on the grid? Yes, they would. And I think you'd have... I think Lewis and Seb would still be right in there, but I think the top 2 in the championship will be Ricciardo and Verstappen. As the F1 intro is now playing, I'm going to go now watch the race stuff. Hopefully you have fun watching the race, and hopefully things go your way this time. I know that last week didn't go your way, so hopefully your driver can have a good race today. Thanks, plenty of fans in East Africa. Interesting to hear that. I didn't think there was. Dan Fiend, I need this summer break to catch up on sleep. Still recovering from triple header. Trust me, for me doing, you know, all this content for you guys, it is very tiring but also fun because, you know, the races have just been fantastic. As just getting the intro done now. 4 minutes until the race start. As well, if you're new, don't forget to join the Just HDF1 Discord community. The link to that is in the description. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. A link to my Twitter is in the description. And if you want to keep up to date with the channel, then follow me on Twitter. If you want to subscribe, go to the bottom right of the screen and click subscribe, or go to my channel name and click there, or the link to my channel is in the description. Like this video, comment down below. If you're watching this after, what did you think of the race? If you're, you know, watching this the whole way through and you're at this point, then who do you think is going to win the Hungarian Grand Prix? And if you're new to the watch-alongs, basically the timing systems I've tried to find just don't work with my software. So essentially what I do is I post the latest pictures from the Grand Prix so you guys can get a visual of what's going on. So that is what I'm going to be doing. And I'll try and get a picture on the screen for you guys, hopefully in the next minute or two. We have the Ultra Soft, Soft and Medium. That is the same tyre choice that Pirelli have brought that we had at the last race in Hockenheim. Hamilton and Bottas on the front row. Ferrari have to get a good start here. If they don't get a good start, I don't see how they win the race. I don't see it. Right, I'll get a picture up for you guys now of what is currently going on at the Hungary ring and what the track looks like in terms of the weather. Right. We are about 3 minutes away from the race start. I really cannot wait to see the start of the race again because it's going to decide a lot today. And I think we could get an interesting one, a very interesting one. Right, here is a picture for you guys. That is currently the crowd at the Hungary ring. A lot of Max Verstappen fans, by the way. A lot of Max Verstappen fans. Good to see. And I think once we go to Holland for a Dutch Grand Prix, I think Verstappen Mania is going to take over F1. Would love a Hamilton bottle. Quote me on this from Stella. Hamilton is going to bottle it and Vettel's going to win. We'll see. It would be very surprising if Hamilton did because normally it's Vettel who will do the bottling, but there's no reason why Hamilton can't, as Ferrari have a black stripe across their car as a tribute to Sergio Marchionne. Again, rest in peace to him. Sebon Soft. Interesting. Well, they haven't actually took the tyre blankets off, so we'll see. And that's another thing I kind of forgot to mention was the tyre choice. Of course, all the teams from 1 till 20 can choose what tyres they're on. Lewis Hamilton is on ultra soft tyres. Interesting. I think basically they're going for a good start to the race. Vettel, yeah, it does look like he's on softs. Yep, he is. So Hamilton, Bottas, Raikkonen on ultra soft, Vettel and Sainz on soft, and then Gasly through to Grosjean is ultra soft. Alonso, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg soft, Ericsson ultra soft, Van Dorn, Leclerc, Ocon soft, Perez ultra soft, Sirotkin soft, and Stroll is on the mediums. Oh, I'm not sure they've gone gone for the right tyre there, Ferrari, because of course you want to be fast off the line, and being on the soft tyre is not going to help that compared to the ultra soft. So I think that might be an incorrect decision there. Yeah, but it's hard to overtake here. Yeah, it is, but I'm just looking. So it's a predicted one stop. Ultra soft to medium and soft to medium. That's if, of course, you're starting on the ultra soft, you'd go to medium. And then if you're starting on the soft, you go to medium again. But I don't think it's going to play out like that. I think the tyres are going to wear out a lot more than people think. Vettel overcut, Kimi undercut. I think that's their thinking. But the thing is, if Gasly and Verstappen jump Vettel at the start, because they're on tyres that are a lot softer and are going to be better for a race start, then that strategy is completely blown immediately. For Kimi, it's not, because all he has to do, I think, is get past Bottas and then he can try and undercut. But for Vettel, he has to be in at least P4 now because he's starting on the softs, and I think he may have some trouble off the start line maintaining P4, as the front of the field are now on the formation lap coming through to the last sector. Turn 1 crash. No reason why that couldn't happen. Here they come now to the penultimate corner, as Carlos Sainz also on the soft tyre, so that is kind of a helping hand for Vettel, is that Sainz alongside him is on softs. So that's good for him, because if Sainz was on ultra softs, I think Sainz would instantly blast past Vettel. Again, if you're just joining us, who do you think will win today's race, as the race start is about to happen? We are about to start the Hungarian Grand Prix, as Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas are coming up to line up 1 and 2 on the grid. I bet there's going to be an incident in turn 1. We'll see, as Alonso and Ricciardo come around the final corner for the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Lance Stroll comes out of his garage as he's starting from the pit lane. He has to put on a new front wing because the damage done to the front wing yesterday means that he has to start from the pit lane as the last car on the grid, at least. So Sirotkin comes around the final corner and he's going to line up now. And here we go for the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix. 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights in Hungary. And it's lights out and away we go. And who has got a good start? I think Kimi Räikkönen has. Yeah, he kind of has. He's right in the slipstream of Valtteri Bottas. He's going to go round the outside. Sebastian has also got a decent start. I think that's a Red Bull Verstappen, who is up to P5. So Verstappen doing well, getting up into P5, as Bottas is protecting like crazy from Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen, and he does his job. So it is Lewis Hamilton leading from Valtteri Bottas, and we have Sebastian Vettel, I believe, in 3rd place, with Räikkönen 4th, then Verstappen 5th. Ricciardo's had an absolutely terrible start. And as they come through now, so yeah, it's Hamilton, Bottas, Vettel, Räikkönen, Verstappen, then Gasly, then Magnussen, Sainz, as Hartley, I think he's still in P8. He just held off the Renault of Nico Hülkenberg as Alonso's trying to go for a move there. So it is working out very well right now for Mercedes. They have a 1-2 so far. Can they hold on to it? And I think with Lewis Hamilton, he can definitely hold on from here. Just Bottas needs to do his job, as there's some racing there at the back of the field. And Lewis Hamilton now comes around the final corner and will start lap 2 in Hungary. So no real movement off the start there, as Sebastian is already losing time to Bottas, and he has to hope the overcut works, as at the beginning of lap 2 the race order is Hamilton, Bottas, Vettel, Räikkönen, Verstappen, Gasly, Magnussen, Sainz, Hartley and Hülkenberg. Those are the points finishes, as Ricciardo gets past, I think, a Williams there. He might have some front wing damage on the Red Bull, I'm not sure. Alonso is P11, then Grosjean 12th, and Van Dorn 13th, Ocon 14th, Perez 15th, Ricciardo is 16th, 17th is Sergei Sorokin, 18th is Marcus Ericsson, 19th is Lance Stroll, and Charles Leclerc is out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. I don't know what's wrong with his car. I'm going to assume it's a reliability issue because I can't see anything on his car which is broken in terms of a front wing or anything. But that is the race order, as Lewis Hamilton already has a 2.5 second gap between him and Sebastian Vettel and 1.3 between him and Valtteri Bottas in second. So already he is pulling away. And now I'm going, after that quite frantic start, I guess you'd say, I'm going to now find a picture for you guys. And I've already got one. As it looks as though to me that Vettel's losing about a second a lap to Hamilton. And of course Vettel's on the soft tyres, so he has to hope, Vettel, that the ultra soft gives up very quickly, or quicker than is expected, because if the ultra soft does better than expected, then I don't see how Vettel wins this race. I just don't see it, because the overcut won't mean anything anymore. There goes the Ferrari contact. Ricciardo had contact on first lap. I'll try and watch out for that as we rewatch the race start. Sainz got a good start in P5 and Sebastian had to hold him off. Kimi tried to get into the slipstream of Bottas and try and go around the outside, but Valtteri just did a fantastic job of holding him off. So good defensive driving by Valtteri, allowing Lewis to try and pull away in the lead of the race. Vettel doing very well there to go round the outside of Kimi, so good job there by Sebastian. I'm just watching a replay now. Yeah, right round the outside. Kimi was not expecting that. He tried to go around the outside of Bottas, but that was never going to happen. Still watching some race starts. Carlos Sainz, I think what happened is he had a good start and then maybe someone, I think it was Verstappen, threw it down the inside of him and basically caught him by surprise. And that's why he lost position, I think. Or there is contact between Sainz and Verstappen. That's front right of Sainz and left rear of Max Verstappen. That is major contact from Ericsson on Ricciardo. I wouldn't be surprised if if Daniel had a broken left front suspension or at least a damaged wheel. Bit worrying there for Ricciardo. Wouldn't be surprised if he retires after that. Contact with Ericsson and Ricciardo. And I think that's how Leclerc got eliminated. I think he's broke his right front suspension on the left rear, I think, of Sergio Perez. As Lewis Hamilton now sets the fastest lap, he leads by 2.5 seconds to Bottas. And Vettel is 4.2 off the race leader. So again, he has to hope that the ultra soft gives up very soon, because if it doesn't, then I don't think Vettel stands a chance of beating Hamilton today. As Ricciardo is behind Van Dorn. Ricciardo is P14, Van Dorn in P13. Ricciardo looks fine at the moment, but who knows what will happen from now on in. And already I think Ricciardo's just struggling in the dirty air, and I don't think he has the straight line speed to get past these people. So I think Ricciardo's in for a very tough race, even though it looks as though now he will get past Van Dorn. No, not quite. I thought he'd go down the inside there, but he's going to go for the switchback as the paint on the left front of Ricciardo and the paint on his tyre has been rubbed off, of course, by Marcus Ericsson's contact. Ricciardo's going to go round the outside. Nope, he locks up and goes off the circuit, but will keep his P14 because Esteban Ocon is too far behind to punish him. So Daniel Ricciardo, P14 and struggling, and I think that contact has definitely had an effect either on his car or his mood. As he tried to go around the outside at turn 2, but just didn't have the grip on the soft tyre to do it, I'm afraid. As Fernando is holding up Romain Grosjean in P11. And Hamilton's still pulling away like crazy. Hamilton is now almost 5 seconds ahead of Vettel. This is going to be a long race. If you're a Ricciardo fan, yes, it will be a very long race. This will feel like the longest race of the season. This ought to be a boring race at all. At the moment, it doesn't look like it's going to be great, but who knows? Maybe a safety car can spice it up. Who will win? If I'm putting my money on anyone, it'd have to be Lewis Hamilton. He has such a gap right now and has good pace. I think he has enough right now to get a race win, as Ricciardo's going down the inside of Stoffel Van Dorn and he's going to get the move done. Van Dorn lets him go. So Daniel Ricciardo up to P13. And now, how far ahead of Kimi is Seb? Max Verstappen! Max Verstappen has a problem. He's going slowly. He has a reliability issue. And Red Bull's race gets even worse. I told you, since FP1, they've got progressively worse. And this is the icing on that cake. Max Verstappen, there's no lights on his dash. He's out of the race. Looks like a gearbox or either just a shutdown. Please don't swear. Max Verstappen out of the race, and that puts Pierre Gasly up to P5. Virtual safety car as well, so who is going to pit? Well, is it too early to pit? Who knows? But I think someone out there is going to pit as... Yeah, Max lost all the... I think he lost the lights on his dash. It's either a shutdown or it's a gearbox issue. The winner will be Lewis Hamilton. Right now, that looks very likely. Kimi and Seb needs to switch position to put pressure on Merc. Well, Kimi's not all over the back of Sebastian, so I don't see why they should do that, because Kimi's not showing evidence that he's actually faster. Seb will pit. I don't think he should, because I think he'll lose so much time in traffic. There's no real point doing that, as Verstappen 6 laps into the Grand Prix retires with an issue. That is poor. And I have to say, I think Red Bull's season in terms of race wins is pretty much done, because their power unit, as Marcus Ericsson comes in and puts on the medium tyres, so he'll go to the end of the race. I think Red Bull's season's kind of done in terms of getting race wins. As we go green again, and Ricciardo is all over the back of Alonso, as Grosjean has passed Alonso, I think, as the virtual safety car ended. So good there by Grosjean. Might have been illegal though, so I'll have to see a replay of that. But where is Hartley? Hartley's P8. And he's a second ahead of Hulkenberg and about 2 seconds behind Carlos Sainz. So Hartley's doing well. Hartley is doing well. And I think he's on the Ultrasoft at the moment. Hamilton is about 5.5 seconds ahead of Vettel. Red Bull will probably win Singapore. We thought they'd win here, but Ferrari showed that they had a lot better pace in the dry conditions, and I think that'll happen again in Singapore, because I think Ferrari's power unit now is so much more powerful than the Red Bull. The Red Bull power unit, you know, with the Renault. I just don't think Red Bull can do anything about it, as Daniel Ricciardo closes on Alonso. He's going to throw it down the inside. Alonso moves across and blocks. Ricciardo's going to have to do the switchback here, and I think that's going to work, as Alonso is really defending this. Ricciardo trying to go around the outside, but Alonso brilliantly covers that off. Great defensive driving by Fernando Alonso here. Does not want to give Daniel a sniff. As Ricciardo P12 and Fernando Alonso in P11. Right, I'll try and find a picture for you guys now of what is going on. Oh, so this is what happened with Grosjean and Alonso. So it went green, and Grosjean stuck it up the inside. So caught Alonso napping. Alonso, maybe Alonso thinks that it was illegal. No, it looks fine to me. Yeah, it looks fine to me. So Grosjean just stuck it down the inside at turn 2 and got the move done. So well done there by Romain Grosjean. By the way, Pierre Gasly doing really well in P5. He's 4 about 4.5 seconds ahead of Kevin Magnussen. So good job there by Pierre Gasly as Ricciardo closes on Alonso again. I'll post another picture for you guys so you get a visual of what's going on. Here you go. As Ricciardo down the inside of Fernando Alonso, and that move is done. Fernando's going to try and fight it back though, so maybe he can Fernando run the outside? No, he's not going to. Ricciardo just has way more grip. Right. Here you go. This was just before Verstappen retired, by the way. So you can see there Kimi and Max in the background. I'll try and find a picture of Max retiring. Here we go. I've got the picture of Max retiring. If you're just joining us, the order is Lewis Hamilton leads from Valtteri Bottas in second. Sebastian Vettel is third. Kimi Raikkonen is P4, then Gasly is P5, 6th is Magnussen, 7th is Carlos Sainz, 8th is Brendan Hartley, 9th is Nico Hulkenberg, 10th is Grosjean, Ricciardo is P11, Alonso is P12, Van Dorn 13th, so McLaren are doing alright, then 14th and 15th for Ocon and Perez in the Force Indias, 16th and 17th for the two Williamses, and then Ericsson is 18th as Verstappen and Charles Leclerc have both retired from the race within the first 10 laps. And Hamilton leads by 4.1 over Bottas and has a 6-second gap between him and Vettel. Well, I'll post this picture now of Max Verstappen. Here you go. This is what it looked like on board from Max. Him retiring with, I don't know what the issue is exactly. It kind of looked to me like maybe a gearbox. But that is the sad sight of Max Verstappen retiring after just 6 laps. That is not good enough. That is not good enough in terms of reliability, as Kimi is kind of closing on Sebastian here. Sebastian is 2 seconds behind Bottas. I don't really know if the soft tyre's working. I think the soft tyre is working better now than it was, say, in the first few laps, but MG UK confirmed by Christian Horner. Right, okay. So MG UK problem there for Max Verstappen. But I think the soft tyre is working better now than it was, say, 5 laps ago, but it's still not working, I think, how Ferrari were wanting it to work, if I'm being honest. And Kimi's now closing up to the back of Sebastian. As very long radio message here. I don't know what Kimi... 7, Kimi should switch so Kimi can put pressure on Lewis. Oh, Ricciardo down the inside of Romain Grosjean at turn 1. And he gets the move done. So Ricciardo up to P10. He now has 2.5 seconds to Hulkenberg in P9. I don't really think I don't think they should switch them, because I think the soft tyre that Sebastian's on right now is... it's getting better over time, so there's no point putting Kimi in front, because I don't think Kimi will actually put the pressure on. As Max looks very angry, walking back into the paddock about 5 laps after his sad retirement. What tyre will Hamilton put on next? I think he will put on the soft, honestly, because I think he'll want to protect from Vettel and ultra softs at the end, because I think that's what Ferrari are doing. I think Ferrari with Vettel are going to run as long as possible and then pit for ultra softs maybe 20 laps from the end and then just push as hard as possible. So I think from Lewis's point of view, he is going to try and run his ultra softs as long as he can. Of course, spinning clean air is helping that. Yeah, he's going to try and run as long as possible on the ultra soft tyres, as he's 5.2 ahead of Bottas. And then put on the softs and try and get to the end without Vettel putting him under pressure, as the pit window is now open for anyone starting on ultra softs to pit. But I don't think there's going to be that many people pitting, as Pierre Gasly coming through in P5, doing very well. Doing very, very well. Lewis Hamilton will win the championship. Too early to say. I think he will as well, but in terms of for definite, I don't think it's late enough at that point to say whether he'll win the title or not. And Pierre Gasly just going along very nicely. He's only 9 seconds behind Kimi Räikkönen after 13 laps, so good pace from the Toro Rosso, really good pace. As Ricciardo is now on the back of Nico Hülkenberg, this is going to be a very easy pass. As Brendan Hartley, by the way, is 1.5 seconds behind Sainz, so not doing bad. Not doing bad at all. He's definitely showing good pace right now. As Ricciardo is going to get past Hülkenberg. He's going to go down the inside. Yep, there you go. Daniel Ricciardo down the inside. And Daniel Ricciardo is up to P9. Hamilton will put soft or medium on it next so he can go to the end. Yeah, that's guaranteed. I think it'll be the soft though, because I think that'd be a better tyre to defend with against the ultra soft of Vettel at the end, because I think that is what Ferrari are going for. But it's not going well for Sebastian at the moment because he's about 7.5 seconds behind Hamilton after 13 laps. So if it gets to 10 seconds or more, Sebastian's strategy is dead in terms of winning this race. He needs a safety car. He really needs a safety car. The softs are now quicker. I can't really see evidence of that right now. If you're comparing, say, Hamilton and Vettel, I can't see any evidence of that because Vettel isn't exactly, you know, hammering down the door of Valtteri Bottas right now. As Ricciardo immediately back up to Brendan Hartley. DRS open. Will he be able to get past? I think he will. Yep, he's going to get past. Hartley's not going to defend this. There you go. Ricciardo is now up to P8 in this Grand Prix. Hartley's going to try and fight it on the exit, but the Red Bull's just too fast. As I'll try and find a new picture for you guys, just to give you a visual of what is going on. So there's not any real pictures at the moment, so I'll have to wait for some. As Ricciardo, just showing a replay then of him going up to P8. Do you mean soft or quicker than ultra soft or medium? The soft is faster than the medium in terms of just general pace, and I think would be able to hang on at this rate. Vettel is... Oh, pit lane. Kimi Räikkönen is coming into the pit lane to put on the soft compound. So Ferrari, I think, are changing the strategy now. So they're taking the ultra softs on, putting the soft tyres on. Oh, slow pit stop. That was about 3 seconds slower than it needed to be. Yep, it was. 5.1 in the pits. He's going for the undercut, but here's the issue. He now has a bit of traffic, so he can't... I'm not sure he can actually do much from there. He does have a bit of clear space, but I think he'll catch Magnussen so quickly that if K-Mag stays out, he's going to affect Kimi's race. And where was the issue? I think it was the rear, maybe the rear jack was a bit slow off. I'm not sure. They didn't really show clearly what was the issue. Hamilton 8.4 ahead of Vettel, still pulling away. And to me, again, Vettel on his soft tyres does not look particularly smart right now. As Ricciardo all over the back of Sainz. Ricciardo will pass Sainz at the end of this lap, going into the next lap. And then has quite a gap to catch to go to Kevin Magnussen as Valtteri Bottas pits from second place and puts on the soft tyre. And, well, they predicted that teams would be going to the mediums. Well, they're not. They're going to the soft. And I think that's a sign of maybe a two-stop. Rear left apparently was the issue, okay. I didn't quite catch a glimpse as Kimi is nowhere near Valtteri, so don't worry about that if you're a Mercedes or a Bottas fan. As Daniel Ricciardo closing on Carlos Sainz, and Ricciardo just throws it down the inside and gets past. But Carlos Sainz, no, he was going to fight on the exit, but Ricciardo just has such good drivability in the Red Bulls. Pierre Gasly, P3 right now. But of course, he hasn't pitted and Bottas and Raikkonen have. But that's the thing, if Bottas and Raikkonen are doing a 2-stop, then maybe Pierre could do a 1-stop and get a, I don't know, a top 4 or 5 finish. You don't know. Yep, there you go. Replay of Ricciardo going down the inside of Carlos Sainz. Nothing Sainz could do. Hamilton 1-stop. Depends when he pits. He hasn't pitted at the end of this lap, so maybe he is going on the 1-stop. And he's just set a fastest lap of a 1:22.4, so I don't think he actually needs to pit right now. As Pierre Gasly, P3, Bottas is catching him very fast, so I think Bottas will pass him in the next lap or two. Maybe for Hamilton, but everyone else will be on a 2-stop. I think Sebastian, as Kimi Raikkonen goes down the inside of Kevin Magnussen, can he get the move finished? Yes, he does. So Kimi is up now to P5 in this Grand Prix. Maybe that everyone else will be, as Daniel Ricciardo now does a fastest lap of 1:22.3. Maybe I think that might be a sign that Hamilton needs to pit. Maybe he could do a 1-stop and Sebastian could, but it doesn't look like that right now. As is Hamilton pitting? No, he's not. He's staying out on the track. As Vettel on his soft tyres in cleaner air, I would say right now is doing better and is kind of holding the gap to about 8.8 seconds. So does Ricciardo. Right, I'll try and find a new picture for you guys. Hopefully there is one that I can put up. Hamilton just watching his onboard, looks very calm. He is pushing, but not massively hard, so not to destroy his ultra soft tyres. As Bottas has passed Pierre Gasly, so Bottas is up to P3 now. And Kimi is about 5 seconds behind us. Kimi now does the fastest lap, a 1:22 flat. So I wonder if that is a sign that Vettel should pit, because I don't think he wants to be undercutted by his teammate now, does he? And I've just seen, actually, apparently Kimi Raikkonen has complained that his, I'm just reading here, his drinks bottle is not connected to his car. So that's not good, obviously. And he needs to get that fixed. Right, I think finally I've got a picture for you guys. Here is Kimi Raikkonen, just set the fastest lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix and is looking quite good right now. This was just before he pitted, by the way. Toro Rosso in P3, even if only for a little time, it's a great achievement. Even if he finishes P6 or P7, I still think that's a great race. Gasly should get P6 today. Yeah, he should. He should. If he gets a bit of luck, he could get a podium, but of course he needs a lot to happen. As Daniel Ricciardo now closes up to the back of Kevin Magnussen. Kimi will beat Seb, probably. I don't think he'll be allowed to, because if Seb's behind, then Kimi will let Seb through, because they have to. In this titanic World Championship battle, they've got to try and give Sebastian the most amount of points that he can get. As just looking at the gap, Vettel's not really overcutting Bottas right now. It's about 17 seconds from Vettel to Bottas, and I think you need about 20 to 22 seconds to pit. So Not really working out well for Sebastian right now. Replay of Valtteri getting a bit wide onto the grass, but I don't think he lost any time there. Just going as far off the track as you possibly can without getting a penalty, of course. And Vettel again, he's just maintaining the gap to Lewis. About 8.7, 8.8 seconds. He's not gaining on him, but he's not losing time to him. But Bottas is gaining time on Sebastian. As Ricciardo now on the pit straight is going to pass Kevin Magnussen. Even though the Haas in a straight line is very good. Throws it down the inside. That's very... Oh, he just about made it without crashing into him. The Haas in a straight line is so fast. As Ricciardo's going to go down the inside. Now is he? No, Magnussen closing the door. Holds it around the outside. Great driving there from Kevin Magnussen. And you know what? I think with the straight line speed that K-Mag has, this is going to be difficult now for Daniel Ricciardo. Because that Haas in a straight line was so fast. He needs 23 seconds. Yeah, about that. And he's not got that to Bottas. So Bottas will stay ahead. And Bottas is actually going faster. So if I was Vettel, I would pit right now and put Ultra Softs on. And then pit again and put another set of the Ultra Softs on. I think that's the only thing you can do right now. Ricciardo pushing up to the back of Kevin Magnussen. Can Ricciardo get the move done going into turn 1 this time? Gasly still P4 ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. So Raikkonen not exactly flying up to the back of Pierre. But he will be past him very soon as Magnussen driving very well out of that final corner. Again, this is going to be difficult for Daniel to get past. But I think he might this time. Yep, he's going to get past this time, surely. Magnussen closes the door again and pulls around the outside. So Magnussen really fighting this. This is great to see that he's fighting this. But Ricciardo now going to go round the outside. Does he have the grip to do that? Yes, he does. Great overtake there by Daniel Ricciardo. He is now up to P6. And, well, he's got to be catching now Kimi Raikkonen and Pierre Gasly. Raikkonen is now within DRS of Gasly, but I will say Raikkonen is not exactly flying up to the back of Gasly. Taking quite a lot of time to do it. So I don't know if Raikkonen has an issue, but not lapping well right now is the Kimster, as Lewis Hamilton, his gap's now 8 seconds, so Sebastian is now starting to eat into that. Now down to 7.7. Has Hamilton's tyres gone off the cliff? 7.6. Maybe Lewis's tyres have now gone off the cliff. Who knows? As Lewis now has a bit of traffic ahead, so if I was him, I'd pit as Pierre Gasly is passed by Kimi Raikkonen. So Kimi is now up to P4. And, well, I think he's lost quite a lot of time there because, he didn't exactly fly past him. Right, now, I'm going to post another picture of Valtteri Bottas, hopefully, coming out of the pit lane. Here you go. This is when Bottas pitted. And he is now in P3. And I'd have to say at the moment he is ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Plan C for Seb, whatever that means. I think Plan C might be... Well, actually, I don't know. It's difficult to read right now. I think their original plan was to go soft to ultra soft. And then maybe plan B was soft to medium. But so maybe this is soft to ultra soft again. I just don't know. But Vettel is eating in to Lewis Hamilton's lead. It's now down to 6.5 seconds. He is really gaining on Hamilton. So I think Hamilton's going to have to... He's just lapped Ericsson, I think. So that might have affected him. But still, he's losing a lot of time to Sebastian. Sebastian's race is coming alive. And as well, let me just read that right. Vettel's also pulling away from Bottas. I think the gap's about 21 seconds to Bottas. So I think Vettel is now pulled a gap to Valtteri, which would put him ahead. No, C stands for championship winning strategy. Well, hopefully for Vettel this is one, because he needs it, as he goes a bit wide there. He's cut it down to, he lost a lot of time there. He lost a second making that mistake. That's a costly error there by Sebastian. Can't be making those when you're in high pressure situations like this. But yeah, it looks like Vettel has got the jump on Bottas. As just watching a replay here, I'm going to assume Lewis Hamilton locks up. Going in, no, he doesn't. This is just basically looking at the state of his tyres. This is Vettel going wide. Yep, locked up the inside front and lost a lot of time. That is not good. Lost a lot of momentum there. Did Sebastian, but he's now starting to close it back up again as Hamilton laps Lance Stroll. Has to go offline there, so that's not great for him. So, 25 laps in, what do you guys think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to win the race? Has your predictions changed? Mine has. I went Raikkonen to win, but I don't see how Raikkonen can win this race now. As Renault out in the pit lane for Nico Hülkenberg, he's going on to the mediums. That is a different strategy to others. There he goes, medium tyres, and gets going again. So I think, he has to be the first soft runner to pit. I'm in the car on my way to Navy. I can't read that because it's very small, but you're off to a Navy camp, I think you can see there. What is happening in the race right now? Lewis Hamilton is leading from Sebastian Vettel, but Vettel is eating into Hamilton's lead over him at quite a lot of time. Bottas is third, Raikkonen is fourth, but Bottas and Raikkonen have pitted. Hamilton and Vettel have not. And then you have Gasly in fifth, Ricciardo is sixth, Magnussen is seventh, Carlos Sainz is P8, Hartley is P9, Grosjean is P10, Alonso is P11, Van Dorn is P12, Ocon is 13th, Hülkenberg 14th, but Hülkenberg has pitted. Sorokin is 15th, Stroll is 16th, Ericsson is 17th, Perez is 18th, but Ericsson and Perez have pitted. And Verstappen and Charles Leclerc have retired from the race. Verstappen with an MGUK problem and Leclerc with I think a broken right front suspension. So that is the race after lap 25. We're about to begin lap 26 in a moment as Brendan Hartley pits. And so does Lewis Hamilton. So Lewis Hamilton comes into the pit lane. What tyres is he going to put on? He will come out in P2. Bottas will not affect him. Here he comes now. What tyres is it? It is softs for Lewis Hamilton. So Lewis Hamilton onto the soft tyres. That is not a surprise. I kind of predicted that anyway. And he will come out in a very clear P2. Bottas is nowhere near him. Lewis Hamilton almost has the entire track to himself. That's the amount of time ahead he is of Valtteri Bottas. So Vettel leads from Lewis Hamilton, but Hamilton has pitted and Vettel has not. And this is the good thing for Sebastian is if he pits now and puts on ultra softs, I think he has enough of a gap to Valtteri where he can come out in P2 and then go hunting after Hamilton. So, yeah, I think Vettel can do a lot with this now. I think this is in Vettel's hands now. If he pulls the gap, if he does everything he can, and he is pulling the gap to Hamilton, he's pushing very hard. If he does what he can, Vettel could win this race. Seb should pit. Maybe. But what tyres does he put on if he pits now? Because he can't put on another set of softs. And if he puts on ultra softs, he'd have to pit again, I think. Because I don't think ultra softs can go for 45 laps. I don't see that happening. So if he pitted now, he would have to put on mediums if he was to go to the end. I think Vettel needs to push now, then later pit for ultras. That's what I would do right now. But Hamilton is now catching Vettel back up. about half a second on this lap alone, as Ricciardo is within a second of Pierre Gasly. Gasly's about to be passed here for P5. Around the final corner, and Daniel Ricciardo opens the DRS, but it's not close enough to pass yet, so we'll have to wait another lap. Or is he going? No, he's going to go down the inside. What an overtake by Ricciardo. He was so far behind, it seemed. But not too far behind for his skill level, as he is now up to P5. So great there by Daniel Ricciardo. And I just want to see the gap between him and Raikkonen, because it might be competitive enough for a good result for him. As just watching a replay, yeah, he was miles behind. Just threw it in. Gasly could do nothing about it. What did you say? Yeah, I thought he was too far behind, but clearly he wasn't. He is 8 seconds behind Raikkonen, is Ricciardo. As Sebastian, 12.8 ahead of Hamilton, 12.6. So Hamilton's taking about half a second a lap out of Vettel. I would say if he wants to stay out, and even if he loses time, he needs to pit when Hamilton gets it down to like 10 seconds, I'd say. I think that's realistic in terms of Vettel being able to catch Hamilton back up. Never underestimate the Ricciardo dive bomb. Yep, I've learnt that now. As Vettel, it seems as though Vettel in the first sector pulls away, but in the corners where the tyres are really asked a lot of questions, Sebastian can't hang on to the car as well. Bottas, 3.1 ahead of Raikkonen. I don't know if Raikkonen is gaining or if that's just stabilising. It looks like Raikkonen is gaining a bit on Valtteri Bottas. So Ferrari they're coming alive. Ferrari are coming alive. Main priority now is to come out in front of Valtteri. It's still very close though. It's still about 21, 22 seconds. So I'm not sure whether he will come out ahead or not. And I think that's what they're working on right now. As Kimi is 2.8 behind Bottas right now. We have Sirotkin, Stroll, Perez and Ericsson have all been lapped. From 15th down to 18th, that is. So, go Lewis, these guys can't drive like you. He's doing well at the moment. Well, actually not right now, because Vettel has pulled it back out to just under 13 seconds. So Vettel is doing well. He's 21.9 ahead of Valtteri. 21.8 now. So it's very close. It's very close. And I think Ferrari are basically trying to be sure in terms of getting him ahead. Right, I'll post a new picture for you guys now. I think they're trying to be sure of when or how he gets ahead. Right. Get a picture up for you guys of Lewis Hamilton, who pitted a few laps ago. Valtteri, his car doesn't exactly look fast moving right now in terms of him pushing. And Kimi is, I think, slowly catching him in the Ferrari. Here is Lewis Hamilton. He pitted about 4 laps ago, putting on the soft compound on his Mercedes. Says on my TV that Seb is pulling away from Lewis. Is that timing wrong? No, that's real. Seb is he's extended it to 13.2 now. That's basically Vettel turning up his engine and now giving it absolutely everything he's got, and he needs to if he wants to get ahead of Valtteri Bottas. And right now, it looks as though he is just about ahead of Valtteri. It's about 22.5 seconds, I think, the gap between him and Valtteri. And I think that's enough. Valtteri needs to pick up the pace to come out ahead, but if he does, he will struggle with his tyres, said P2. I think Valtteri, I think he might be able to hold off Sebastian even if Sebastian's on fresher tyres though, because it is, again, hard to pass here if the cars are still similar in terms of pace. Sebastian goes round again, round the final corner. He is still not pitted on lap 30 out of 70. And he really is giving it some. He's now extended it to 14.4 seconds. So either Lewis Hamilton's made a mistake or Vettel is pulling away at some speed. Lewis in traffic. Yeah, it seems that way. But Vettel is definitely giving it some. Because Bottas, I think now is about 23 seconds behind. So Vettel is really pushing. Ricciardo is catching Kimi and Bottas on old tyres. Yes, he is. Ricciardo has closed the gap to Raikkonen from 8 seconds to 6. So Ricciardo doing well. And of course he started on soft, so he can go onto the ultra soft tyres and make it work. So watch out for Daniel Ricciardo. As I said in my build-up, watch out for him because he is going to make a difference. Sergio Perez down the inside of Lance Stroll. Nothing Stroll can do on the mediums. Perez up to, I think that's P16. So, the race order on lap 31. Vettel leads from Hamilton by 14.5 seconds. Then Bottas is third. Raikkonen 4th. Ricciardo 5th. Gasly 6th. Magnussen 7th. But Gasly and Magnussen have not pitted. Neither has Alonso, Van Dorn and Ocon in 8th, 9th and 10th. Then you have Sainz P11, Grosjean P12, Hartley P13, Hulkenberg in P14, then Sorokin, Perez, Stroll and Ericsson, with Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, your retirees. Seb got this in the bag. Over Valtteri, it does look like, yeah, 24.1, so Vettel does have the gap. Will Vettel pit, or will he stay out to pull out the gap a bit more to Hamilton so he's not too far behind him? As Kimi has now closed the gap to 1.2 to Valtteri Bottas. Can Kimi pass Bottas? Not sure he can, but of course he will try. But Ferrari are really coming alive now. I still can't really call this race. I still can't. It's up in the air. I think Valtteri and Kimi and Daniel are all going for P3, and then it's obviously Sebastian versus Lewis for the race win. Just how we want it. Kimi, just looking at the gaps now, 1 second behind, so he needs to get within a second to use the DRS. Hopefully he can, as Valtteri is about to lap a Williams, I think, as Kevin Magnussen finally pits from P7. Don't know what tyres he's on, but I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. Probably the soft tyres, I guess. The scenes if we have a safety car. Don't jinx it for any Mercedes fans out there. Yep, it is the soft tyre for Kevin Magnussen. Bit of pit stop trouble though. The left front won't come off. Soft goes on. I don't think that'll cost them a position, but that was not what you want to be doing at a pit stop. As Valtteri now has DRS as he's lapping Ericsson. Raikkonen has DRS as he is trying to lap Ericsson, but Ericsson is getting in the way and needs to let him through. Yep, he's going to do that now. He has the DRS. So Kimi, I don't know if he's going to be able to overtake here. I think this might be done on strategy as Pierre Gasly is now in the pit lane. Would happily jinx it. 1-2 Mercedes. Doesn't look likely right now. To me it looks like a Hamilton first, Vettel second, if Vettel pits now. With Bottas third and Raikkonen fourth. Ricciardo's still catching Kimi Raikkonen. Ricciardo's got it down to 4 seconds. Ricciardo is right in this Grand Prix. And I'd say, if Ricciardo can get within a second and then stay behind until, say, lap 45-50 and put the ultra softs on, I think Ricciardo's right in play here. Because he's far enough ahead of Gasly so he won't come out in traffic. So I think Ricciardo really does have a great chance right now of a podium. 4.6 from Kimi now. Ricciardo, yep. Vettel would be clear win if we get a safety virtual safety car. He would, but Hamilton's now put it down to 13.5 seconds as Valtteri laps Lance Stroll. So Sirotkin, by the way, is pitted if you're interested in Williams' race, but let's be honest, no one is. Kimi gets passed as well. They're just getting their way through the lap traffic, which is really affecting Kimi trying to get past Valtteri right now. Vettel will come out behind Ricciardo. No, he won't. Vettel has about a 25-second gap to Bottas, and it takes about 22 seconds to pit. So I think Vettel has the gap to Bottas right now. I think that what it's about now for Vettel is extending the tyre life so he can go very fast on the ultra softs at the end. Vettel's softs look fine to me. Bit of graining on the rears, but nothing major, nothing worrying. As Sebastian is about to lap he's just lapped a Haas of Romain Grosjean. He's about to lap Carlos Sainz in a moment as well. I didn't get a good look of Lewis's tyres, so I'm going to guess from that comment in the chat it's not looking too good. I'll post a picture now. Daniel Ricciardo, who is making a lot of progress. He has dropped back a bit though, I think because of traffic. He's now 5.2 behind Kimi, as Kimi is a full second behind Bottas. And Vettel is now starting to lose some time to Lewis, so I'm going to guess Lewis is just pushing hard on his soft tyres, the fresher soft tyres. Right, hold on a minute, I'm just trying to get this picture. As Vettel closing off on Sainz all the time. Some tyres ready there, I think I saw there. Yeah, is that for Bottas, I think? It's got to be for Bottas. He pitted quite early compared to his rivals. So, yeah. Right, sorry guys, just finding a picture to put on the screen of... There you go, Daniel Ricciardo making some great progress in this Grand Prix, and is definitely a one to watch. As I said in my preview, building up to this race. Hamilton just took out 9/10 of a second on Sebastian Vettel. Lewis is pitting again. That'd be a mistake, surely. They can't pit again. And Hamilton is gaining on Vettel. I don't think they can. I think that'd be a massive mistake, because then if Lewis pits before Vettel, then Vettel can just put on the mediums and go to the end and have a 20-odd second gap, probably. So that would be a massive mistake. I think it was Lewis, but it was a Merc with bad rear tyres. I think those tyres will be for Valtteri, surely. That'd be a massive cock-up on strategy if that's for Lewis. And Hamilton is gaining a lot on Sebastian. It has to be for Valtteri, because Valtteri pitted on, I think, was it lap 17? And Lewis pitted, I think, like lap 26. His tyres are gone. Well, whose tyres are gone right now? Because right now, Hamilton is taking a lot out of Sebastian Vettel's lead. And yes, traffic is playing into that, but also Hamilton's fresher tyres. It was number 44 on the car. We'll just have to see. I don't think they will pit him, and I don't think they should. Even if his tyres are graining, they can't pit him, because they're basically just losing the race. They have to keep Lewis out. If they're going to pit a Mercedes, you've got to pit Bottas. Because Bottas pitted, 10 laps before. And Lewis is the only Mercedes right now that's going to be going for the race win. So they have to take a risk here, I'm afraid. Because Seb has so much traffic. He does, but still gaining time. As Seb is slightly out of the traffic now. And there is Lewis Hamilton. He's put the gap down to 9.6. They will not pit Lewis. They can't. Surely they can't. If they do, it's a massive mistake. And no, Lewis not coming in this time. Lap 37 out of 70, so we've just gone past halfway of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Down to 9.2 now, so Hamilton pushing hard. But they are more than welcome to pit. Hamilton took a second out of Vettel on the last lap. So Hamilton pushing hard. Maybe too hard, but if we get a close-up of the... Let me just look at Hamilton's cars. His tyres look bad. I can't really see from that angle. His tyres look fine to me. His tyres look absolutely fine. As he's now got it down to 9.1. Let me just look again. Yeah, his tyres look fine. There's a bit of graining on the right rear, but I think his tyres are fine. So I don't think those tyres will be for Valtteri. And talking of Valtteri, I think he has now took a bit out of Vettel and is, just trying to look, 22 seconds behind Vettel. So still close. Still very, very close in terms of Vettel getting out ahead of Bottas. His rears on slow-mo looked bad. I think that's just, you know, the slow-mo making it maybe look bad, but I'm not sure his tyres are that bad. I think that might just be an exaggeration. As Ferrari are coming out for... This is Kimi Raikkonen, surely. They've got another set of soft tyres out. Yep, it is Kimi Raikkonen. Kimi pits for soft tyres. Hopefully no issues this time. This is going to be an undercut attempt. And he gets going again. Very good pit stop. Very good pit stop. Fastest lap, Valtteri Bottas. He is pushing very hard now. As a lot of traffic go through. So that's not going to help Kimi on the undercut. But, well, we'll see how those soft tyres perform now. So 2-stop for Kimi. Looks like a 1-stop for Lewis and Seb. Splitting the strategies are Mercedes and Ferrari. Will Vettel come in or no? He has... The gap is closing. He's pitting. Sebastian Vettel pits. Sebastian Vettel pits. I don't think he's going to come out ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Bottas is 20 seconds behind Vettel. Vettel's tyres went off the cliff. What tyres does he put on? It is... Oh, there's a problem. Left front. Oh, that's going to cost him. He's going to be behind Bottas. Vettel is going to be behind Bottas. Surely. Or is he? Yeah, Bottas is ahead. Vettel is on ultra softs. And that is the race done. Lewis Hamilton, I think, has enough here to win the race. I think Lewis Hamilton's got this. So it's Hamilton from Bottas. Bottas, I think, is going to pit again. Then Vettel is third on ultra softs. And then Ricciardo is P4. He has not pitted. Replay of the left front. Just wouldn't tighten up. Just wouldn't go on in time. Wasted about 2 seconds there. So yeah, Ricciardo is P4. Has not pitted. Kimi Raikkonen P5. He has pitted. Traffic cost Seb. It did, but, you know, they could have seen the traffic on the track map or on the, you know, on their timing screens. It's not like they were completely blind to it. So if they were that worried about the traffic, they could have dealt with that situation better. Yeah, Raikkonen 5th, then Gasly 6th. Van Dorn is P7, but he is not pitted. Magnussen is 8th. Alonso is 9th. And according to this timing screen, has pitted. Or he's on the pit exit now. Alonso's P9. What a job there by Fernando Alonso. So Sainz is P10. Ocon is now pitted. Grosjean P11, but is right behind Sainz. Hartley is P12. Hulkenberg 13th. Ocon 14th. Perez 15th. Stroll 16th. Sebastian very close to Valtteri. I'll talk about that in a minute. Ericsson 17th. Perez has passed Ocon. Sirotkin 18th. And your two retirees are Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. As Sebastian now closes up to Valtteri and he has to get past immediately. There is no doubt about it. 27 points gap. Yes, if it does remain this way, it will be a 27-point gap. But I don't know if it's going to remain this way for long. I think Valtteri's got to pit again. As Raikkonen does the fastest lap, 1 minute 21.4. So if Valtteri pits again, then Valtteri is off the podium. So maybe Valtteri will stay out as Vettel has now fell down to a second behind. But now there is a lot of traffic ahead. Van Dorn is now in the pits. Where will he come out? Hopefully in a good position. Bottas is on 2-stop. He has to be. He has to be. I don't think he can hold on. Even though Vettel is now fell a second behind and is struggling in the dirty air. As Kimi Raikkonen, what is going on here? I think he's angry about the Williams ahead, not letting him through. As Kimi Raikkonen P5 right now. Right, I'll try and get a new picture on the screen for you guys. As Sebastian, I think, is now reining Valtteri back in. We have 28 laps to go. Can Sebastian pull off a miracle? And I have to say, at this point, it would be a miracle. I do not see how Sebastian can win this race. As Kimi Raikkonen does another fastest lap, 121.3. So that traffic did not hold him up really at all. Yep, a lot of traffic coming up for Bottas and Vettel. As, there you go. That is what cost Vettel a bit of time to Bottas. The left front just would not go on. And that cost him 2 seconds in the pit lane. It will be close between Lewis and Seb. I think Bottas is on a 2-stop. He has to hope that Valtteri pits soon. But this is the thing. Valtteri right now is doing well. He's got a second gap to Sebastian. And it doesn't look like Vettel can actually close it. As they now come up to the traffic. So this is where the race, I think, will be kind of decided. Is through this traffic. How can Vettel and Bottas get through it? What do you guys think is going to happen? If you're just joining us, what do you think will happen in the remainder of this race? We have 27 laps remaining. Lewis Hamilton leads from Bottas second, Vettel third, Ricciardo fourth, Raikkonen fifth, Gasly sixth, Magnussen is seventh, Alonso is eighth. By the way, Stoffel Van Dorn is P9. McLaren are so fast today for some reason, as Raikkonen does a new fastest lap of 121.2. Sainz is P10, Grosjean P11, Hartley P12, 13th is Hulkenberg, then the two Force Indians of Ocon and Perez, Stroll 16th, Ericsson 17th, Sirotkin is 18th, and then the two retirees are Verstappen and Leclerc. What can Vettel do? Bottas will not pit. I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed out at this point, because I don't think Sebastian can do anything about Valtteri. And I think Bottas... Does he have enough pace? Does he have enough tyre life to hang on? I think he does. I don't think Sebastian will. Hamilton, Vettel, Kimi, Bottas, Ricciardo. Vettel's right rear already looks horrible. That does not look good. Not at all. Lewis win, Bottas second, just ahead of Vettel. Right now, if Bottas stays out, I'd have to agree. I don't see how Sebastian can get into P2 unless Valtteri pits. Valtteri's pulling away right now, actually, from Vettel. Vettel's Ultra Softs are not working at all. Wow, Ferrari have just thrown this one away, haven't they, this weekend? They had the pace on Friday. They looked absolutely brilliant. But then the rain came on Saturday. They didn't produce when it mattered, and that's what happens when you don't produce. This result at the moment happens. Bottas can go to the end probably. Right now it looks good for him, but who knows? if he will actually do that, as Lewis Hamilton is now lapping Fernando Alonso in 8th. Just shows you how slow the McLarens are, that it takes 45 laps for a Mercedes to lap them. There you go. Hamilton lapping Fernando. As Red Bull are now out in the pit lane for Daniel Ricciardo. Ultra softs are going on. Hopefully this is a good pit stop. Yes, it is. Absolutely brilliant. And he will come out in P5. And look at that. Has the whole track basically to himself. There is no one near him. Got the Williams and the Sauber in the background. They're having a great fight back there in 16th place. Hamilton, Bottas, Kimi as a prediction. Sebastian's now falling behind to 2 seconds. I think Vettel, I think Ferrari have kind of blown this one, if I'm being honest. I don't see how Vettel wins. I do not see how Vettel can get second either if Bottas stays out. I just do not see it. Just some replays going on of Ricciardo's progress throughout the field. Here we go with Ricciardo. Yeah, it looks like he's going to put in some good laps now. And I'm expecting him in clean air to really get after Kimi. But he does have some hard work ahead of him. Valtteri still about 2 seconds ahead of Vettel. As well, what do you guys think of the race so far in terms of excitement? Do you think it's been a good race, great, not so good, boring? I would say this race is 50-50. It feels like the French Grand Prix to me. Not really a surprise because the dry weather conditions at this track, there is no real good racing anyway, but it's not been horrible. It's not been horrible. Medium, solid race. Yeah, it's just been a 50-50 race. Not boring, but not exciting. Again, like the French Grand Prix, this race. Definitely could have been worse, though. Bottas coming up to lap the Renault of, I think that's Carlos Sainz, who is P10. Is it Carlos Sainz? I don't know if it is. Yeah, I think it is. No, yeah, it is. It is. It's Carlos Sainz. Right, sorry about that. We need a crash, safety car. That would throw up the race a treat, but I think that's Ferrari's only hope. Only hope. As Sebastian laps Carlos Sainz as well. Actually, it would be good now. We need no crash. Crash kills. Yep, indeed it does. Sometimes. Hopefully not today. Ricciardo fastest second sector. So Ricciardo is on it. I'll look at the gap between him and Kimi in a moment. I think he's taking a lot out of him. Just post a picture of your race leader. Yep, Daniel Ricciardo at 1:20 flat. Very fast lap time that is. As 2.6 now from Bottas to Vettel. Vettel, his race is done. It's absolutely done. Even if there's a safety car, I don't see how that works for him. Don't see it. There you go. There is your race leader, Lewis Hamilton, leading by 10.5 seconds. And right now, you'd have to say, if it ends this way, Lewis is the clear favourite going into the last few races of the championship after the summer break. You'd have to say that because Sebastian and Ferrari, despite having, I think, the fastest car, are throwing away this championship right now. Just looking at the gap. So Ricciardo is 13.8 behind Raikkonen. I think that's a bit too much. That's a bit too much to ask, I think, of Daniel. Vettel 2.8 behind now. No real movement in the field. It's kind of gone boring now. There's just no real movement. I think everyone's kind of settled in for the last 22 laps. of action. I just don't see... I don't see what's going to happen, really, if anything. As Grosjean is trying to close up to Sainz, but is not doing the greatest job of that. I do feel a bit sorry as this is a replay of Grosjean going wide. Oh, that's costly. Just before the penultimate corner of the Hungary ring. Just trying to think. Yeah. No real movement right now in the field. Nothing really to say, I'm afraid. I mean, I'd love to say something that would increase the excitement, but there's nothing exciting going on the racetrack. It's just the top 10 lapping the slower cars right now. I will say though, I do feel sorry for Brendan Hartley, P12. He's been jumped by Alonso, Grosjean, and Van Dorn. That's very sad, but again, maybe he should have been a bit faster at the pit stop phases. As who is that pitting? That is a Williams of Lance Stroll, I think that was. Yep, Lance Stroll into the pit lane for his second pit stop. If it finishes like this, championship equals Vettel 27 points behind. Indeed it does, and right now I do not see how Sebastian finishes second. I don't see how that happens. So Mercedes 1-2, Hamilton from Bottas, Vettel 3rd, Raikkonen 4th, Ricciardo 5th, Gasly 6th, Magnussen is 7th, Alonso is 8th, and Van Dorn is 9th. So a great race by McLaren. I think this is probably McLaren's best race since the Spanish Grand Prix, I'd say. And then Sainz is P10, Grosjean P11, Hartley P12, Hulkenberg 13th, Ocon 14th, Perez 15th, Ericsson 16th, Sirotkin 17th, Stroll 18th, of course Williams at the back, and Verstappen, Charles Leclerc are your retirements. I've been watching F1 since 1987 and I haven't seen a better driver than Lewis Hamilton. I disagree with that. I think Hamilton is one of, I would say, the top 5 or 6 best drivers of all time, in my opinion. But I wouldn't say he's, since 1987, he is the best. I'd say Senna and Schumacher are, since that year, better. But that's, doesn't mean you're a bad driver if you're not as good as those two. Those two are like gods in motor racing terms. So, yeah, I'd say Lewis definitely since the late 80s, I'd say Lewis is definitely at least a top 5 driver since the late 1980s. Game of Ben, Alonso had 5th in Australia, but I don't know where Van Dorn finished. I think Van Dorn in that race was P9. And I think Van Dorn's best finish of this year is P8, which was Bahrain, as Vettel is closed up again. He's put it down to a second. Has Sebastian now charged his battery and is he now going after Bottas? Has Bottas' tyres fell off the cliff? Oh no, Van Dorn's retired. I feel so sorry for him. That is such a shame. P9, running so well. Good pace. I think I just jinxed it for him. That was the commentator's curse. He is out of the Hungarian Grand Prix and I feel so sorry for him. No matter what you say, today he was fantastic. Great pace, especially on the overcut, and his car has failed him. Such a shame. Poor Stoffel. Yeah, it was. Oh, I feel so sorry for him. That's what I mean. He VSC we have a virtual safety car. I don't think that will cause anyone to pit though. But yeah, I feel so sorry for Stoffel. He was driving so well. And then that happens. Mercedes are out in the pit lane. I don't know if this is actually a pit stop or if this is just a dummy. VSC because Van Dorn's car... No, that's a dummy. They're not pitting. Because Van Dorn's car is parked on the side of the road and they want to recover it. Bottas and Vettel have come across the start-finish line. They're not pitting. Lewis is not pitted. I think they were just covering off any other pit stop by someone else, and they had to get Van Dorn's car back because it was parked very close to the racetrack. Shazza, how could you forget about our Lord and Saviour Lando Norris in the top 5 best drivers? Oh my god. He's a good driver and he drove well this weekend, but we'll see what he's like in F1. As we're green flag again, no one pitted. Hamilton leads from Bottas with Vettel in 3rd. Lots of races that Michael Schumacher won was given to him. I disagree. I think most of his wins were fully earned. I mean, I know that some of them were backed up by a Barrichello, but I think most of them were, you know, fully earned wins, and some of his drives were, again, godlike. Now I just hope Van Dorn makes it to Spa next month. He will complete the season. I'm just concerned from his point of view whether he will race in 2019. Yeah, some kind of issue. I don't know what it was. It happened at the final corner. Hamilton should have pitted because he would have came out in the lead on good tyres. It's not worth taking the risk. It's not worth taking the risk. Unless... if he had like a 15 to 20 second gap, maybe he could have, but I don't think it was worth the risk. Don't want to be throwing away races now. He leads by 12.5 seconds. What lap is the race out of 70? I just joined. It is 53 out of 70. The race order is Lewis Hamilton leads by 12.5 seconds to Valtteri Bottas. Then it's Vettel 3rd, 1.2 behind Bottas. Kimi is 4th. Then Ricciardo 5th, Gasly 6th, 7th is Magnussen, 8th is Alonso, 9th is Carlos Sainz, 10th is Romain Grosjean, 11th is Brendan Hartley, 12th is Ocon, 13th is Perez, 14th is Hulkenberg. I don't know what's happened to Hulkenberg, maybe he's pitted. Ericsson 15th, Sirotkin 16th, Stroll 17th, and then Van Dorn, Verstappen and Charles Leclerc are your retirements. As Vettel closing up again to Bottas, but I don't think he's actually going to make a move as we have 16 laps remaining. 16 laps from the summer break, and I think a certain Sebastian Vettel and also a certain team called Ferrari have a lot of thinking to do when it comes to the second half of their season. He's got within a second, Sebastian. I think he's within DRS, but again, it is so hard to pass here. And if you watch the F2 race this morning, there wasn't really any passing for the first 20 or so laps until the tyres went off. So the only way you can really get past anyone is if someone's tyres goes off the cliff. And that's not happening right now. A bit of a debate going on in the chat about Michael Schumacher for some reason. I don't know why. Let's concentrate on the Hungarian Grand Prix first. There's still 15 laps to go as Hamilton continues to pull away. What a weekend he has had. Pole position, and what will, unless he has an issue, be the race win. As he crosses a line and starts lap 55. He is currently, as it stands, 27 points ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Not good. Not good for Vettel. Not good at all. And I'm afraid it's all down to them. It's not luck or anything like that. It's because Ferrari and Vettel, again, as a team, as a duo, have thrown another result. As Vettel is still closing up on Valtteri. Closing up very quickly on the braking zone into turn 2, but I don't think he can get a move done. He has closed up. Maybe he can get close, but I still don't think he can get past. I still don't think he can. I'm surprised that Mercedes are doing good, even though their car is not suitable for this track. That's why this result would be, I think, their most important of the season, because this track does not suit their car. And to get a 1-2 on it would be the icing on the cake in terms of both championships and just the momentum they're going to carry into the summer break and going into Spa. And it's Mercedes and Hamilton's to lose right now, as I say that. Rip Ferrari, yep, indeed. Just not good enough this weekend. Good enough pace, not good enough performance in terms of the result. As all this is some overtaking action, Hulkenberg round the outside of Sergio Perez. Fresher tyres gets the job done. Ferrari bottle it again. Yep. As Sebastian closes up to Valtteri as they lap Fernando Alonso. So Sebastian's putting the pressure on now. Gonna have to wait another lap though. He's about half a second behind. So if he gets up to the final corner and he's half a second behind, I think Vettel will have just about enough to at least have a go, which is all that matters right now. He needs to get past Bottas. This 3 points gained, if he gets past Bottas, could be the most important of the season. Once we get to Abu Dhabi, I'll just post a picture from Bottas's rear end of what is going on behind him with Sebastian Vettel. Gone back out to about 9/10 of a second though, so Sebastian needs to close that. Close it pronto. There you go. That's what it looks like from Valtteri's rear end. Sebastian is closing. He has DRS, Vettel. And no, not close enough. Nowhere near close enough. Chazza, did you know that Fernando got first in qualifying with super softs when it was raining in England in 2017? Yeah, I remember that. I think that's the last time he finished top of a session. That's all he can do. Vettel is closing, but I don't think he has enough grip. I don't think he has enough grip to get past Valtteri. I think Valtteri has this one on lockdown, really. And that's another thing to note. I've not noticed Kimi is closing up to Sebastian. Kimi is now 2.8 seconds behind Vettel, so Bottas will have 2 Ferraris on his back. Bottas says his rears are starting to go. That's not good. Tyres are ready, I assume, for Bottas, but I don't think it'd be smart to pit him because he's doing a good job of holding him up as Kimi is closing fast on Vettel. And I think, as you can see with Ricciardo, 18 seconds behind Kimi on the Ultra Softs. I think the Ultra Softs just aren't a good tyre at this track. And maybe that was the mistake of starting on softs. Probably should have started on Ultra Softs, because then he could have got onto the soft tyres and I think would have a better chance of passing. As Kimi is slowly but surely closing up to the back. I think by the end of the race, Bottas will have Vettel and Raikkonen all over the back. Gasly or Ricciardo, driver of the day. I haven't really thought of my driver of the day at the moment. We'll get on to that in the race reaction. By the way, I will be getting into a race reaction live stream, which will be going live about half an hour after this race finishes. So in about, say, 15 to 20 minutes time, I will be cutting this stream off and finishing it. And then I will go live as soon as I can, most likely half an hour to 45 minutes after the race, with a full race reaction to what we've seen. And then, of course, tomorrow on Monday at 4 PM UK time, a full recorded race review for you guys as to what's happened in today's race. And not a lot compared to Hockenheim, but still something to talk about for sure, as Kimi continues to close on Bottas and Vettel. Bottas is really under pressure. He is. Does he have... Oh, Sebastian closing up very close there. Under braking into turn 2, but does not get properly close. Kimi's still gaining a lot. I think we're in for a potential grandstand finish, as Hamilton now is almost 17 seconds ahead of Bottas. What a drive by Lewis. I think maybe he would be driver of the day. I think Fernando Alonso would also be up for driver of the day as well. As well, just a note in the Drivers' Championship that right now Kevin Magnussen will go up to P8 ahead of Alonso. I hope Lewis crashes for the greater good. I think we can all tell your allegiances there, but no matter, as Sebastian, penultimate corner, closes up again. Does he have the grip to actually pass him? As Kimi is now a second behind Vettel. Vettel was looking so good until the traffic. That's what's cost him. Vettel got the DRS. It's just not close enough to Bottas. Bottas is getting such good punch off the final corner that Vettel cannot close up enough. And Kimi, I think now is within DRS of Vettel. I'm just a Kimi fanboy, that's all. Of course, if Lewis retired, that would put him up to the podium because Ricciardo is nowhere near, sadly, to actually mount an attack. Kimi's looking good. He's looking good. I don't think he'll be allowed to pass Vettel, but if Vettel gets past Bottas, I think Kimi will go through as well. Kimi is really fighting for a podium. If Vettel gets past, then Kimi's race will come alive. But if Vettel doesn't get past, Kimi's not going to be allowed to challenge Sebastian. Come on, Vettel, you've got to get past him now. This is vital for the championship. You cannot let Lewis Hamilton go now further than a race win in terms of points ahead. Cannot allow that to happen. But right now, with 41 kilometres to go of this race, it looks like Vettel can't pass him. Right, I'll try and find a new picture for you guys to keep you guys updated visually as to what is going on at the racetrack. Right, I've got a picture for you guys. But what do you guys, who do you think is driver of the day, in your opinion? I still don't know. It'd probably be out of Lewis and Fernando right now. But, I don't know. You guys mentioned some, and we'll see what some of you guys think. There is a picture of the struggles that Sebastian is having right now. Cannot get past that Mercedes of Bottas. He just cannot get past him. Deja vu from 2017. Yep, kind of. Ericsson as always. Vettel is on the wrong tyres, so he can catch up but can't pass. If he was on the soft tyres, a fresh set of softs, I think he would have a better chance. He's 8/10 behind, still not going to pass him, still not close enough. Hamilton and Gasly for me. Gasly's done well as well, that's another one. Yeah, maybe Gasly, that's a shout. But Lewis as well has done brilliant. I think Fernando doing the overcut. Great drive as well. And Kimi looks closer to Vettel than Vettel looks to Bottas. And that, I think that just shows that Sebastian cannot pass Valtteri. If Stoffel didn't retire, probably him. I would have said Van Dorn if Van Dorn had finished P9 or P8. Yeah, Gasly too. That stop killed Vettel. He had to pit, but I think that was the issue of starting on softs, is you have to put on the unfavourable ultra softs. As they are coming up to lap a car, I think it might be a Williams for the second time. I don't know though, we'll see in a moment. I hope Toro Rosso can be able to battle Ferrari someday. I don't think that will ever happen. Maybe if it's wet for one race, they can, like 2008 at Monza. But yeah, that's unrealistic. Yep, they're coming up to lap Sergei Sorokin for the second time. So both Williamses will be lapped again for the second time. Bottas down the inside. Vettel was kind of close there as Vettel got a chance. No, he's still too far behind. He got close, but just not close enough. What the hell is happening to Red Bull? They just haven't had the pace this weekend. And contrary to what people think, this weekend they have got worse during the weekend. The pace has got worse and worse compared to Mercedes and Ferrari. Because Ricciardo just cannot really get near, even though he has caught up a bit. That's only because Raikkonen, Vettel and Bottas are actually holding each other up. I hope McLaren can fight Ferrari one day. With the way that team's going, I don't see how that's realistic at this point. Gasly for driver of the day. Definitely in that top. I think between him, Lewis and Fernando, it is those three for driver of the day. Hamilton, by the way, 21.5 seconds ahead of Valtteri. That just shows you how dead Bottas's tyres are. And two, how much he is holding up the two Ferraris who are definitely closer to Bottas. Is he going to go for the move? Or he was kind of close then. If he was like a 10th closer, I think he could have gone for it then. How far? He's 4 tenths behind. Is he going to go up the inside? Nope, he's not. We have 6 laps of the Hungarian Grand Prix remaining. Red Bull had the pace today, just didn't really get to see it. I don't think they had the pace to get on to win the race, but for a podium they did. But it's just the tyre choice with Ricciardo has affected them. But that's, I think, a result of starting on the soft tyres. If Vettel locks up, it's over for him. Yeah, it will be, because his ultra softs must be right on the edge as they come through now. The middle sector, Vettel, it does look closer to Bottas. If Vettel has any engine mode left, then he has to be using it, because this is championship critical. Sebastian must pass Valtteri. Closes up in the final corner, half a second behind, and is it still half a second? Yes, it is. Right, here we go. I think Sebastian's going to go for the move. Here he is. Round the outside. Is he going to go around the outside? Is he going to cut back? He does cut back. He's going to get a better run. Bottas slides. Vettel is going to go round the outside. Valtteri holds on the inside. Hits the back of Vettel. Valtteri damages his front wing. So Valtteri is down to P4. Will that damage the rear tyre of Sebastian Vettel? Does Vettel have a puncture? If he doesn't, then Vettel is P2. With Kimi in P3, but Bottas, I think, might lose P4 to Daniel Ricciardo. Let's just see here. Or I wouldn't be surprised if Vettel gets a puncture there. That was quite hefty contact. Bottas has damage for sure. Nope, Sebastian looks fine right now. He's pulling away, so I'm going to assume that Sebastian is fine. So Sebastian up to second. Kimi is P3. Bottas is P4, but not for long. Ricciardo is going to get that. Bottas, if he stays out, he's going to get passed. If he pits, he's going to get passed. Ricciardo will surely get P4 here. He had to do it. He had to do it. That was championship critical. Mercedes are coming out for a pit stop. Bottas is staying out. Ricciardo's going to pass him, though, very soon. Oh, no, please no investigation. I don't know what it would be for. I thought that overtake was fair. I mean, maybe they thought Sebastian closed the door on him, but I thought it was fine. I thought it was absolutely fine. Bottas staying out. Looks as though So there you go. So Vettel on the exit of turn 1, he did the switchback, opened up his DRS. Bottas lost the rear end on the curbs, and then pushed Valtteri to the inside. Valtteri tried to break down the inside, and then Valtteri went into him. You could argue that Sebastian was aggressive. I think that was just about fine. Because I've seen that happen plenty of times before, and the driver behind has been smart enough to brake a bit earlier and not make contact. Will Vettel get puncture? I don't think he will. I think if he had one, or if he is going to get one, he would have had it by now. I think that was fine from Sebastian. I don't think he will get a penalty for that. I don't think he should. I think he was fair in doing that. It's hard racing. Get on with it, as far as I'm concerned. As Alonso is closing on Bottas to unlap himself, and Ricciardo is closing to get P4. Vettel should be penalised. I disagree. I think, yes, it was hard racing, but I think Valtteri should have realised that it was over. Vettel had the outside line. No matter what Valtteri was going to do on the inside, he was not going to pass Vettel. Even if Vettel gave him more space and put it more around the outside, I think Sebastian would just go around the outside and outdo him anyway. So for me, that is fine. No penalty there, in my opinion. And if he gets a penalty, then I will do a video on it on Tuesday as to why it's not a penalty. Because it's not. No way. Vettel closing on Hamilton, but it's too late because Hamilton is 22 seconds in the lead. Safety car for debris. I don't think there's any point. There's only 3 laps left now as Ricciardo closes on Bottas. And this is going to be an easy overtake, I think. Is he going to go around the outside? Bottas is still defending, though. And Ricciardo all pushed right to the outside, coming into the final corner. Ricciardo's going to pass him into turn 1. There's no doubt about it. Here we go. DRS. Valtteri's still defending very hard, so he is trying, but I don't think this is going to work out for him. He's breaking down the inside. Valtteri! Contact! Valtteri and Daniel Ricciardo make contact, and Ricciardo is off the circuit. I wonder if that's done damage to Daniel Ricciardo's side pod. That was quite heavy. If I'm being honest, that has done damage. Not massive damage for him to be retiring from the race. They've noted the incident between Vettel and Bottas, so I don't think that'll get a penalty. I think Bottas was a bit unfair though. I think he kind of should have realised that he was going to go wide. Just seeing a replay of it now. Down into turn 1, Daniel's trying to go around the outside. Valtteri on the inside. Valtteri has a damaged front wing. Of course, with a damaged front wing, you're going to have massive understeer. That's clearly Valtteri's fault. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a penalty for that. I think he should. That was just clear contact. Yeah, I would give a penalty to Bottas there. That's not very sporting. As Ricciardo is closing up again though, so Ricciardo is really motivated to get past Bottas. So it's not over yet. I will try. I just saw someone post show picture of Bottas's damage. I'm trying to find a picture of it. Here is, well, when the damage occurred. I'll just get this picture up as Ricciardo and Bottas incident will be investigated after the race. Right, I'm just getting this picture up of when Sebastian passed Bottas and where the contact and damage came from. So there you go. Vettel positioned his car around the outside, closed the door slightly. It was aggressive defending, but I think it was fair. It was hard racing, but racing is hard. Get on with it. What Valtteri did, though, was not very sporting. As Daniel closes right back up again, so we will get some overtaking action. If Bottas gets penalised, then Vettel should be as well. No, I don't think that's how that works. As Ricciardo closing up to Bottas as we come to the middle sector. Bottas is going to get past here, surely. Ricciardo looks immensely fired up. Both of them have damage. Hamilton has started the final lap, so we're on the final lap of The 2018 Hungarian Grand Prix, it's been okay. It's not been boring, but it's not been great. But yeah, another race to add to the history books. As Valtteri gets wide out of the final corner, Daniel Ricciardo closes up under DRS. And Valtteri defends again to the inside, but Valtteri is surely going to go wide with a damaged front wing. He does, and Daniel is passed. So I don't think Bottas... I think Bottas won't get a penalty now because, you know, he's not going to lose really any positions from that. So I don't see why a penalty would be that necessary. I mean, they can give it to him and give some penalty points, but again, not that necessary. Here comes Lewis Hamilton around the final corner. Lewis Hamilton wins the Hungarian Grand Prix of 2018. 17 seconds ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Then it will be Kimi Raikkonen in third. And then Ricciardo P4 with Bottas P5. Here comes Sebastian round the final corner. And he finishes P2. He's not happy about that. Neither is Kimi. Ferrari have thrown away the win this weekend. There is no doubt about it. Ricciardo will be P4. Bottas P5. Gasly P6. Magnussen 7th. Alonso 8th. Sainz in 9th. And Grosjean in 10th. Those are your point scorers for the 2018 Hungarian Grand Prix. And then Hartley is P11, Hülkenberg is P12, and 13th is Ocon, 14th is Perez, 15th is Marcus Ericsson, 16th is Sergei Sorokin, 17th is Lance Stroll. So the two Williams last of all, not surprised, with your retirees for the Hungarian Grand Prix being Stoffel van Dorn, Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Oh, there we go. The Hungarian Grand Prix. What did you guys think of that race? I will be asking you guys in my race reaction who your driver of the day is. So don't forget to stick around for that. And don't forget to put your driver of the day in that stream's chat as well. I'll stay on until the podium celebrations are about to begin. So for another 5 minutes. Let's see what some of you guys are saying. Congrats to Lewis. Daniel, driver of the day. Reprimand for Bottas, probably. Yeah, it seems logical. If Vettel got second in quali, or if the pit stop was faster, he was lost in qualifying, I'm afraid. It was all lost in qualifying for Ferrari. And I think Vettel starting on the Ultrasoft was not a good strategy idea. Bottas and Vettel idiots. Not Vettel, but Bottas, I think, with his contact on Ricciardo, that was a bit idiotic. Because he has a damaged car. He knows he's going to get understeer. But yeah. Just looking at the race result. Yep, Lewis Hamilton wins from Sebastian Vettel in P2. Kimi Raikkonen in P3. I will put up a final picture for this stream, guys. Hopefully, and there you go. Put up a picture of your race winner for the 2018 Hungarian Grand Prix. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. I have enjoyed this as well. Of course, watching the race with you guys is fun to interact and debate whilst the race is going on. Hold on, let me just readjust this picture. So, there you go. Your race winner, Lewis Hamilton from Sebastian Vettel in second, and Kimi Raikkonen in P3. Right, if anyone has anything to say, I'll answer that quickly in the chat. And if you want to debate about who the best driver of all time is, then check out the race reaction in about half an hour to 45 minutes, and you can continue that if you want to. Did Ferrari gain in Constructors? Yes, by 3 points, I think. Did Bottas go too fast into the corner? He did, considering he knew he had a damaged front wing, so he didn't have to take that risk. Risking his own race as well, because he might have damaged his own car if, you know, he hit a certain part of the car. It's okay, Vettel will win the championship after Monza. It will be equal again. I'm not so sure about that, but who knows? Who knows what will happen going into Spa and Monza. I think Mercedes and Ferrari will split those two races in terms of race wins. With Monza probably being the one that Ferrari will take. Damaged car and worn tyres. Lewis Hamilton looks very, very happy, and so he should be. 27 points in the lead of the championship. Right, I think I'm going to end. Yeah, racing is racing. That's bang on. Right, I'm going to end this stream now. I will be going live again in about 30 to 45 minutes with my race reaction for the 2018 Hungarian Grand Prix. So don't go anywhere, stick around, and if you want to have a debate there, then continue that. Don't forget to join us on Discord. The link to that is in the description for my Chazza HD F1 Discord server. Follow me on Twitter. A link to that is also in the description to keep up to date with the channel and when I'm uploading. As well, don't forget to subscribe. Either go to the bottom right of the screen and click sub there, or click on my channel name, or click on the link in the description that goes to my channel page. Like this video, comment down below, what did you think of the race, what do you think of the incidents, and until the race reaction in about, again, 30 to 45 minutes, I will see you all then.